सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
सुखं नित्यं स्वप्रकाशं व्यापकं नाम रूपयोः अधिष्ठानं बुद्ध्यबोध्यं बुद्धिर्दृग्यत्व निर्मलम् अपारं सर्ववेदान्तवेद्यं प्रत्यक्परं महः तदेवाहं न मत्तोऽन्यदिति मे निश्चिता मतिः.
Sorry, would you have a spare pencil? I'm so sorry.
So in the second chapter, where the Vishesha Akshepas are given, means the specific objections are given. First, regarding the Adhikari, they were given and they were answered. Then regarding the Vishaya, the subject matter of this text, they were given and answered. And now from the 66th to the 82nd Avarta, the Vishesha Akshepa regarding the Prayojanam, means the purpose, the benefit of this particular text is given. And what is the Prayojanam? The Prayojanam is Jnanena Mokshaha. And here in this particular section, there are two objections. The first objection from 66th to the 72nd Avarta is Jnanena Mokshaha iti na, means it is not true that by knowledge there is freedom. And the second objection from the 73rd Avarta would be Karmana Mokshaha, means that freedom is by action. And we saw that karma is a well-known and well-understood means for the attainment of anything. And if karma gives moksha and karma is already well established to give rise to the result, then one should go for karma. And therefore, one need not go for this text. Why? Because this text does not lead to karma. This text leads to jnanam, which itself is not the means for moksha. Another point which we saw was, since prayojana is not established, therefore the anubandha chatushtaya is also not established. And when anubandha chatushtaya is not established, then that particular text should not be started at all. It means that this text need not be started. So in this manner, this connection is there. And here, first, for this first objection, Jnanena Mokshaha iti na, there are various arguments given which will lead to that particular conclusion, that Jnanena Moksha iti na. And the first argument is that Bandhaha Satyaha, the bondage is real. And by this what is said? That since bondage is real and Jnanam has got the nature to remove that which is superimposed, therefore, and Jnanam cannot remove that which is real. Only karma can remove that, or with time something real can go away. But Jnanam cannot remove what is real. So, Jnanena Mokshaha iti na. This is the idea. And here, in this case, we saw that here the Swabhava of Jnanam is described. Yat Swavishayi Bhuta Vastu Nishtha Jnana Tat Karyadhyasa Nivartakatvam. And what is the nature? The nature is, being the remover of the ajnanam and its effect, that is superimposition, which is obtaining in that entity which is one's own object, is object of jnanam. And here we saw one more point, that even though adhyasa is also vastu nishtha eva, savishayi bhuta vastu nishtha, but here we are more focusing on the ajnanam which is vastu nishtha. And when we are saying vastu nishtha ajnanam, then we saw that it can be seen in two different ways. The first is the ajnanam which is regarding a particular entity. So here in this case the nishtha is translated as regarding. And the second way is the ajnanam which is obtaining in a particular entity. And here nishtha means adi is in the sense of adhikaranam. The ajnanam is the adhyasta and the adhikaranam is the vastu.
Ajnana is
Adhyasta.
here. This the part we are not highlighting. Ajnanam is obtaining in the vastu.
Vastu. Yes, okay. And when we say in this particular manner, then there is a technical difficulty. And what is that? That ajnanam should be obtaining in some chetana entity, whereas here the vastu is a jada entity.
Can be jada also.
Yes,
Like Raju.
like Raju. So there is a possibility that this vastu can be jada, like Raju, Shuktika, etc. Therefore, what we have to say is that this ajnanam is vastu is obtaining in the chaitanya which is vastu nishtha, which is vastu avachinna. Yes,
Condition by.
yes. So vastu avachinna chaitanya nishtha ajnanam, the ignorance which is obtaining in the consciousness which is conditioned by the particular entity. So thus in this manner when we say the ajnanam is obtaining in chaitanyam which is chetana. And we also saw here that whatever is the object of ajnanam, jnanam removes the ajnanam which is obtaining in that object alone and not any other object or not any other entity. When the Granthakara has used the words adhyasa and adhyasta, so now the Granthakara in the next sentence is explaining what is adhyasa. So it is said, Brahmajnana Vishayi Bhuta Mithya Vastu Tad Vishayaka Bhranti Jnanam Cha Adhyasaha iti Uchyate. So here two things are called as adhyasa. The first is Mithya Vastu, the unreal thing, which is in the form of the content, the object of Brahmajnanam, of invalid knowledge. So, the unreal thing, which is in the form of content of invalid knowledge, that is called Adhyasaha. And here we saw that the object of any jnanam is the content of that jnanam. And therefore, when we are translating Vishayi, then we are translating it as the content. So that is one definition of Adhyasa. And what is the second? Tad Vishayaka Bhranti Jnanam. The knowledge means the Bhranti Jnanam, the erroneous idea regarding that. And what is that? That Brahma Vastu or Mithya Vastu, that unreal thing. Yes. Yes. So,
No Vishaya Vastu.
yes. So, the knowledge means the erroneous knowledge regarding that unreal thing is also called adhyasaha. And by this we understand that there are two types of adhyasa, or we can say two things can be called adhyasa. The unreal thing itself is called adhyasa, and the knowledge means the erroneous knowledge of that unreal thing is also called adhyasa. And this adhyasa is described in detail by the Tippanikara based on the Adhyasa Bhashyam. So he says that Adhyasa means atasmin tad buddhihi. So it means the idea of that with regard to non-that. So what does it mean? The idea of a thing A with regard to the thing B, or which is not A, anything else which is not A.
So idea of A on non-A.
B. Yes. So idea of A on non-A
or with regard to non-A.
Yes, is called adhyasaha, means superimposition. Or in simple words, we can say idea of something with regard to or on something else. That is called adhyasaha, superimposition.
Or seeing something
On
where it is not there.
Yes. So seeing something where it is not there, that also can be said to be adhyasaha. And this particular definition, the Tippanikara himself explains with the help of this application in a particular example. So it is said, atasmin means in the rope, etc., which is endowed with the absence of snake in all three periods of time. The idea of snake, etc., which are apparent. So, what does it mean? The idea of apparent snake, etc., on the rope, etc., which is endowed with the absence of that snake in all three periods of time, and that is called the superimposition. And here we saw that what is pratibhasika? So pratibhasika is pratibhasat agataha. So that which is obtaining only due to appearance, only because of appearance, that is called pratibhasika. Or pratibhasadhina sattvavan, the thing which is endowed with existence dependent upon appearance. It means that this sarpa is endowed with existence at dependent upon what? Dependent upon the appearance of that snake on that rope. When the true knowledge of the rope comes, then the appearance goes away, and therefore the existence of the snake also goes away. Or pratibhasa kala matra sattvavan, is the object which is endowed with existence only during the time of appearance. So when the snake is appearing, then only it has got existence. When the true knowledge comes of the rope, then the snake disappears, and therefore its existence also goes away. And now this particular uh, explanation is further given. It is said that two types of adhyasa are there, means the tadrusha sarpadi and tad jnanam, means the snake, etc., of such type, means which are not really there but are appearing. Those snake is also called adhyasa, and the jnanam of that snake is also called adhyasa. And further division of this adhyasa is made. It is said that this another way of classification of adhyasa is.
What is the first division?
Acha, the naming of that particular division is told. Yes.
So the
For the
explanation given is
for
presented
the
in the form of classification.
classification. Yes. So
Not
what?
the
Yes.
classification of adhyasa.
Yes. So what was said as Tadrisha Sarpadi and Tad Jnanam? What is the name of those two types of adhyasa is given in the next sentence?
By classification.
Yes, through classification. So it is said that this adhyasa superimposition is of two types, arthadhyasaha and jnanadhyasaha. Iti dvividaha. And we saw that yes, arthadhyasaha means arthaha cha asau adhyasaha cha, means the superimposed entity, superimposed thing. And here the vigraha of adhyasa will be karmani, means adhyasyate iti adhyasaha. That which is superimposed is called adhyasaha. And in for jnanadhyasaha we saw that jnanam cha tat adhyasaha cha, means the superimposed knowledge or superimposition in the form of knowledge is called jnanadhyasaha. And here the vyutpatti of adhyasa will be adhyasanam adhyasaha, means the superimposition itself is called as adhyasaha. And the Tippanikara now explains what is arthadhyasa and jnanadhyasa. So he says that this arthadhyasa, which is called substance superimposition, so that substance superimposition is sarpadi, the snake, etc., which are mithya, so the unreal snake, etc., which are in the form of the content of this erroneous knowledge. Those entities itself are called arthadhyasa. And what is jnanadhyasa? Jnanadhyasa means the superimposed knowledge is the knowledge
Such mithyarthita. The knowledge of such unreal thing.
Yes. So the knowledge of that unreal thing, of such unreal thing, is called as jnanadhyasa. Yes. And now in this next sentence, the division of jnanadhyasa is suggested based upon the division of jnanam. Swamiji, idam cha jnanam.
Jnanam or jnana vishaya? Based on the jnana vishaya,
yes,
jnanadhyasa is further classified.
Yes. So it is said that this knowledge, means the erroneous knowledge, is of two types. And what are the types? Based on the difference of parokshatva, based on the difference of the qualities of parokshatva and aparokshatva, means directness and indirectness. Indirectness and directness. So it is said, so we saw the example that when a person has concludes, and conclusion is a knowledge, concludes that a person A is inside the room based on the old chappals which are outside, even though that person A would be outside with the new chappals, then that particular erroneous knowledge is called paroksha jnanadhyasaha. Why? Because right now the person is not seeing the absence of the person, means it is not in contact with any of the indriyas.
He is not seeing the absence of. What did you mean?
Means just as we are seeing rope snake directly,
He is not seeing absence of presence. You cannot see absence.
is that is there
See presence or absence? You said absence.
Yes, sir. Because the conclusion is the absence of the person.
Huh? No, presence of the person. The chappal is there.
Ah,
Chappal is
yes, yes,
outside.
yes, 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 yes.
हाँ, तो error में भी error कर दी.
Yes,
Actually, it is true that person
yes,
is out.
yes, sir.
But we are
Yeah.
talking about error.
Error. Yes. I'll say again that the person has got this conclusion that the person A is not present, and that
Not present.
Is
or
present.
I don't know why.
The chappal is outside, no? So he's inside.
Yes.
Since he's already in the room, he's assuming he's in the room.
तो कैसे भी person को बाहर निकालना.
Yes, yes.
See, now you can see the force of samskara.
Yes. So the person has got this conclusion that the person A is present inside the room based on the presence of the old chappals outside, and he is not directly seeing the person inside, and therefore this kind of erroneous conclusion that the person is present inside the room is called paroksha jnana dhyasaha. And what is aparoksha jnana dhyasaha? Means directly the person is seeing the rope but is concluding that it is the snake. So then the knowledge of that snake which he is seeing or which he is assuming, that is called aparoksha jnana dhyasaha. And this division of paroksha and aparoksha jnana dhyasaha is based upon the vishaya, means the object, whether the object is paroksha, is indirect, or whether the object is aparoksha, direct. And when we are saying aparoksha, we are including pratyaksha also in this aparoksha.
In fact, here aparoksha is primary in this sense.
Pratyaksha. And Swamiji, here in this reading, परोक्षत्वा धर्म भेदा द्विविधम.
What is the problem in that?
I thought
Dvividam dhanam. Dhanam, adhyasa rupa dhanam is dvividam. Based on what? Dharma veda. Based on the difference of quality. What are the qualities? Parokshatva rupa dharma.
Swamiji, isn't I feel there is a typing error. Bhedat dvividam.
Vedat only is there.
It is only I am.
It should be, but it is difficult to type that. See, Vedat dvividam it would be, no?
Yes.
So he has to make double the.
Yes.
And here we can say particular also. So because of the particular quality of parokshatva and aparokshatva, this dhanam is of two types. Veda has got both meaning, difference and specific, particular.
Yes. And then the Tippanikara makes a note that this jnana dhyasaha itself is also called as mithya jnanam, invalid knowledge, or bhrantihi, delusion.
So jnanadhyas is a technical name. Simple one will be bhranti. The more is bhranti. So here in Kerala, the brandy they want to write, they like bhranti. Brandy, Kerala it is I think free. So brandy, so they like brandy. So brandy is, they read brandy. So it's true, brandy is a brandy.
And now the Tippanikara, after giving the division or suggesting the division of jnana dhyasa, is showing the division of arthadhyasa. And he says that even arthadhyasa is of two types. based on the division or based on the variety of Swarupadhyasa and Samsargadhyasa. And what is Swarupadhyasa? Swarupadhyasa is that where the entire entity is superimposed. And Samsargadhyasa is that where the entity is not superimposed, but only the association with the entity is superimposed. Swamiji, for Swarupadhyasa, I have written the translation as substance superimposition.
We can say so. Yes.
Because even Arthadhyasa also.
Then essence or essence, you can say superimposition of nature, we can say superimposition of nature. Here, nature in the sense of intrinsic attribute.
Yes.
Essential nature.
Essence, you can say essential feature.
And now the Granthakara explains both these types of Arthadhyasa with the help of example. So he says that on the self, which is conscious, the superimposition of ignorance and its effects is Swarupadhyasaha.
So we can say Swarupadhyasa in the sense of entity.
Yes.
Entity superimposition.
It means that the ajnanam by itself is not there. But on the consciousness, this ajnanam itself is superimposed. And its effects also are superimposed. And what is what is
Effect means what will come?
effect means this body, mind, sense complex.
Here we don't bring adhyasa because
Yes.
it will be complicated. But adhyasa is superimposed on attributes.
And what is the example of samsargadhyasa? So the Granthakara says that on this ignorance and its effects, such as body, mind, sense complex, the superimposition of the self, which is of the nature of limitless existence consciousness, that superimposition is only samsarga dhyasaha. Because in reality, the Atma is a substance, means it is there in reality, and therefore the entity need not be superimposed. Only the connection of that entity with the ajnanam and its effects is superimposed. And we saw here that when we are saying that there is Swarupa Dhyasaha, then in that we are including that Swarupa Dhyasa is there and also Samsarga Dhyasa is there.
In case of
The superimposition of this Ajnanam and its effect on the self.
From Anatma side, if you see, there is double superimposition. Superimposition of Swarupa Adhyasa, and there is a superimposition of this Samsarga of Anatma with Atma.
Yes. And from the standpoint of Atma, means the superimposition of Atma on Anatma, there is only Samsarga Dhyasaha.
Why?
Because in reality, the Atma is there.
This Swarupadhyasa, what it means is that entity itself is superimposed. Entity is not there. Entity is not there, but that entity is superimposed. Is thought to be there. Entity is really not there, but thought to be there. Then that type of adhyasa is for Swarupadhyasa. When entity is there, but its connection is not there. and the connection is superimposed. That is called samsara.
So what distinct example between these two I'm not able to differentiate.
I will give the example. Okay. Then yours is over.
Yes, I complete.
Here the example we give is a rope snake. We say ayam sarpa. In that is idam part. So idam part and the sarpa part, they have got anyonya dhyasa. So idam is superimposed upon sarpa. But that's adhyasa will be what? Samsarga adhyasa. Because idam is really there. Idam amsha is there in the in the rajju. This idam is this. When we are perceiving the rope, how do we perceive? This is a rope. So this is a rope. That this part is really there. And when there is adhyasa, what is happening? We are perceiving this part. Thisness is perceived. So this part which is experienced in adhyasa is not superimposed. It is there. So superimposition from the standpoint of from the side of this is not swarupa adhyasa, but it is only samsarga adhyasa. Why? Because this part is not really connected with sarpa.
Yes.
The thisness of the rope is not connected with sarpa because sarpa itself is not there. How can there be connection? This is connected with the rope. This is not, this part, idam tva is not connected with the sarpa.
Yes.
So the connection of this part or thisness with the snake is what samsarga adhyasa. Whereas from the sarpa side, if you see, sarpa also is superimposed because sarpa is not there. Snake is not there. So swarupa adhyasa also is there. And the snake is connected with the this. Sarpa is this. So that is samsarga adhyasa. So from sarpa side, the snake side, twofold adhyasa are there. What? Swarupa adhyasa means snake as an entity itself is superimposed, and the snake having the association with this, that also is superimposed. Sarpasya idama sambandha api adhyastha. Idamastu sarpena sambandha adhyastha. Idam itself is not superimposed. The sambandha of idam with sarpa is superimposed. Whereas from sarpa side, sarpa is superimposed and the connection of sarpa with idam. Sarpa is this, we say. The sarpa having connection with this is also superimposed. So adhyastha side, if is this adhyastha padartha side, we see there are double. Idam side, adhisthana amsha, if we see, adhisthana se idam amsha, if we see, only one superimposition. This is extra. Actually, here so much is not required, but the Tippanikara has something to explain, so he has explained. All right. Now let us go to the Moolam. So we had seen that Swavishayi Bhuta Vastunistha Agnana Tat Karya. And here Agnana Tat Karya, we have to understand what? Agnana Tat Karya is the Ahankaradi. So that Adhyasa only. Not Karana Adhyasa only, Karya Adhyasa. Karya, with regard to Karya Adhyasa only, this word is used. This Agnana Tat Karya Adhyasa. Anyway, that is based on the division, one more division of Adhyasa, Karana Adhyasa and Karya Adhyasa. Karana Adhyasa is the superimposition of the cause. That is ignorance. Ignorant itself is superimposed. That is called Karanadhyasa. And the superimposition of other things, Adhyana Bhinna, is called Karyadhyasa.
Karyadhyasa is what? Sorry.
Karyadhyasa means superimposition of the effect other than ignorance. All are Karya.
So in this case, the snake.
In this case, Karya is snake here. Alright. Now, having given those details about Adhyasa, what is called Adhyasa, Mithya Vastu is called Adhyasa, and Brantik Dhanam is called Adhyasa, Mula.
Yes.
Now he comes back to the main topic for which he had talked about all this. So, Prakrutam Anusaramaha. In Sanskrit we call it. Let us go back to the main thing. What? Now he wants to say that Ahankaradi, which is bondage, cannot be removed by Dhanam. That he wants to say. And therefore he gives general rule. What is the general rule? Yatra yadvastu mithyatvam paramarthataha vartate nasti tasya jnanat nivrittihi. General rule. Yatra, wherever or when, in whichever case, yadvastu, whatever thing, mithyatvam without being unreal, paramarthataha vartate, exists really. Paramarthata means really. Tasya vastunaha, of that thing, jnanat nivrittihi, removal by knowledge, nasti, is not there. Means anything is there, like Himalayas. Himalaya is there. Paramarthata, reality is there, without being mithya. So Himalaya is there without being mithya. Then that Himalaya's nivritti, removal of that Himalaya, is not possible by knowledge. If something is really there without being mithya, then it cannot be removed by jnana. That's what we keep saying, that see, Rajju Sarpa you have been studying, but don't think that every time Sarpa will be Rajju Sarpa only. If there is a real snake, then that real snake which is not mithya, really there, that cannot be removed by jnana. You say, no, this is Rajju only. It will not become Rajju, it will not go away. Therefore he says, Tasya vastunaha jnanat nivrittihi nasti. Means, if something really exists, it is not mithya, then it cannot be removed by knowledge. Then how can it be removed if it is to be removed? It is to be removed by karma. You have to take a stick and throw it, that's all karma. So, something is real, then it can be removed or destroyed by karma. If something is unreal, it can be removed by knowledge. In Swarajya Siddhi, there is a beautiful mantra, first half. Satyam bhavam na vittir vyapanudati, Satyam bhavam na vittir vyapanudati yata karma nashyo gatadihi, Mithya bhutam cha karma kshapayati na tatha vitti ghatyam yatastat. The first chapter itself becomes Satyam bhavam vittihi na vyapanudati. Vittihi means knowledge. Knowledge does not remove the real entity. Satyam bhava means real entity. Why? Yataha karma nashyaha gatadihi. Because the gatadi, pot, etc., which is Satyam bhavam, real entity, cannot be destroyed, can be destroyed only by karma. So real thing cannot be destroyed by knowledge. Like what? Ghatadi. Right? It can be destroyed only by karma, not by knowledge. Mithya bhutam cha karma kshapayati na tatha pitti ghatyam yatastat. So he is contrasting. He says real thing cannot be destroyed by knowledge because it has to be destroyed by karma only. Similarly, he says mithya bhutam, that which is unreal, that is not destroyed by karma. Why? Because that can be destroyed by only knowledge. So there is a vibhaga. Real thing can be removed by karma, not by knowledge. And unreal thing cannot be removed by karma. It can be removed by knowledge. Alright, so this is the vibhaga. So here Purva Pakshi is saying that something is really there, it will not go by knowledge. This is general Siddhanta. Now it applies in the Dashtanta, in the main subject matter. Evam, similarly, Atmani api ahankaradi bandha yadi adhyastha syat tahi jnanena nivartyeta. Thus, or similarly, in the self, also Atmani api, even in the self, ahankaradi bandha, the bondage in the form of ahankara, etc. Yadi adhyastaha, if it is superimposed, if ahankara, the bondage, is superimposed upon the self, adhyastaha syat, if it was superimposed, tarhi, then, if the bondage in the form of ahankara, etc. was superimposed upon the self, tarhi, then, jnanena nivartyeta, then it would be removed by knowledge. If ahankara, the bondage, was superimposed, it would be removed by knowledge. But he says, Atmani mithya bhuta bandha dhyasa samagri nasti. But this ahankara, the bandha, he is not adhyasta. Why? Because adhyasa, bandha adhyasa samagri nasti. Atmani. In the cell, there is no material required factor. Samagri here means required causal factors. The factors required for adhyasa, they are called here adhyasa samagri. Samagri means required causal factors. In the cell, the required causal factors for adhyasa means factors required for causing adhyasa. What type of adhyasa? Bandha rupa adhyasa. Or bandhasya adhyasa, superimposition of the bondage, which is mithya, unreal. Nasti is not there. Atmani, in the self, there is no required factors for the superimposition of unreal bondage. Is it clear? Atmani, in the self, the required factors, the factors required for the superimposition of unreal bondage is not there. Therefore what? Therefore, bandha adhyasa is not possible in the self. Tathapi, even then, Atmani pratiyate cha bandhaha. But still bondage is experienced in the self. Tasmat, therefore, bandhaha satyaha eva bhavitum arhati. Therefore, bandha should be real alone. Tasmat means what? Atmani bandhadhyasa samagri abhavat bandhasya pratitatvacha. There is no factors responsible for adhyasa of the bondage in Atma, and bondage is experienced. Therefore, bandha is satya. See, what is suggested here is, I am seeing the snake. Now I have to account for the experience. Either it is real snake or unreal snake. Unreal snake is not possible. Why? Because I have, suppose, thrown the torch, flashlight. So unreal is not possible. So I am throwing the torch now. Still it is appearing as the snake only. Therefore what? It has to be real. Adhyasa possibility is not there now. So something is experienced, and if it is established that it is not adhyasa, then what?
It's the real thing.
Is it clear? Something is experienced. Is it clear? Correct? Something is experienced and it is established that it is not adhyasa. Then what is the possibility?
It is real.
It is real. Similarly here, in Atma, bondage is experienced. And there is no possibility of adhyasa of bondage. How it is not there, it will be explained later on. That why there is no possibility, adhyasa samagri is not there. How it is not there, it will be explained. In the self, bondage in the form of ahankaradi is experienced, and there is no possibility of adhyasa of that bondage in Atma. Therefore, what is the only possibility? It has to be
Real.
Clear?
Yes.
So therefore, tasmad bandhaha satya eva bhavitumar. The samagri abhavat is simply stated here. It will be explained in the next sentence. Samagri is not there. For adhyasa of ahankaradi to happen in Atma, there is no samagri available. And this samagri is not there, the experience is there, therefore bandha is there. Satyatva deva. Kasya, we have to supply what?
Acha, bandhasya.
Yes, correct. Bandhasya satyatva deva. Since bondage is real alone, therefore, jnanena bandha nivrutyasha, the expectation of the removal of the bondage by knowledge. The expectation of the removal of the bondage by knowledge, that expectation is what? Nirarthika eva. Meaningless, fruitless. It is like expecting some oil from sand. Nirarthika. Your expectation, if it is likely to be fulfilled, it is sarthaka. Because if you expect, then you will work for it. And it may be fulfilled. You expect something from some people, which are nirarthika. So similarly, jnanena bandha nivrutyasha nirarthika. Eva. So that is what is he said, na jnanena bandha nivrutti. So what is the idea conveyed so far? In Atma, there is no factors required for adhyasa of anatma bandha. Point number 1. Second point, therefore, adhyasa of anatma bandha, bondage which is in the form of anatma, is not possible. But bandha, bondage in the form of anatma, is experienced. And therefore, bondage is real. And real bondage, or for that matter, anything real, cannot be removed by knowledge. And therefore, this real bondage experienced in Atma cannot be removed by jnanam, knowledge. And that is what you are presenting as a prayojanam promise. What? Dhanena moksha. So the prayojanam, Jnanena moksha is not possible. Jnanena moksha or bandha nivritti is not possible. Bandha nivritti you say or moksha you say, both same. Both mean the same.
Yes.
Alright. In simple words, bondage is real. Real cannot be removed by knowledge. Therefore, knowledge will not give freedom. Okay, that is the essence. Essence के लिए आने के लिए so many things are there. It's not arrived. So many steps are there. All right. Now, what was said earlier that there is no samagri. Samagri means karana, causal factors. The causal factors, the factors which are the cause, the requirements for adhyasa to happen, that adhyasa samagri is not there in Atma. The factors required for the adhyasa of anatma in Atma is not there, are not there.
What is he assuming is the samagri?
That is coming now. Okay, so now that topic is there. Adhyasa samagri. Adhyasa means not any adhyasa. Bandha adhyasa. Ahankaradi bandha adhyasa samagri is not there in Atma. And to convey that, he explains what are the badhyasa samagri in general. So what all factors required for adhyasa to happen? He said 5 factors are required. And that is discussed in the next one. The 67th is adhyasa samagriha. Samagriha is like ikaranta strilinga. So nadi, nadyo, nadya. Samagri, samagriya, samagyo, samagriha. Adhyasa samagriha. Samagriha means, he said samagri nama karana kalapaha. Footnote is there, no? Samagri is what? Karana kalapa. Kalapa means what? This group. The group of the causal factors. Or group of the causes also we can say. So samagri means a group of causal factors. Like what? He gives what is samagri? Yatha, just as pakasya, for cooking. What are the samagri required? Chulli. Chulli means the stove. In those days, stove means not like our stove. Stove means one particular, the mud, from mud they make. You know, that particular U shape.
Yeah.
That is called chulli. Chulli, udaka, water, kashtha, etc. Matchbox also we can supply. Kashtha. These are called samagri. So means the factors required. That is samagri. For adhyasa also samagri required. What are the samagri? He said 5 factors are required. What are they? Satya, Vastu, Anubhava, Janya, Samskara. This idea was highlighted in Adhyasa Bhashya. He said for adhyasa, any adhyasa, these 5 are required for any adhyasa, he said. Adhyasa samagri in general. What are they? First one is samskara, impression. Impression, janya, born of anubhava, the experience of satya vastu, real thing. So the impression born of experience of real thing. This first requirement. We will explain it, but just for to understand the word. In simple words, you can have adhyasa of sarpa only when you have the impression born of the experience of real snake. If you have seen real snake somewhere, then you can superimpose here. If you have never seen real snake, you will not have superimposition. So the first requirement is the impression born of the experience of real thing. That is the first thing, first requirement. See, if I have seen Devadatta, real Devadatta, then I can superimpose Devadatta on somebody else. I have seen somewhere. That's what he is telling. Satya Vastu Anubhava Janya Samskara. First thing. Second thing is Pramatru Dosha. Some defects in the Pramata. Jiva. Pramata is equal to Jiva. Knower. He is going to tell. See, who is seeing the snake? The person who has got fear. Fear is there. And therefore, his mind is frightened. And when you are frightened, now you will be seeing these frightening factors. Therefore, the person who is very, very proud, what is called very courageous, he has very less likelihood of seeing. And the person who has got some greed, no? Paisa mil jaya, kahin se paisa mil jaya. So he will see the silver on the shell. Swami Paramarthanji nicely said, he said, when you are looking for an alliance, so any man you see, he so calm man, he may be married also, but you will superimpose that he is waiting for marriage. So, शादी करने का ही है उसको, he is eager to marry. So you will superimpose because you have need. Like I have need for love, then I will superimpose that that person loves me. My need for love will make me superimpose the love in others. That's what Pramatru Dosha. Third is Pramana Dosha. There are some defects in the instrument of knowledge. Sometimes hearing problem is there. That person is saying something. He is telling immortal and you hear immoral. So that type of thing happens. So many such thing happens. In Vedanta, they use some word and the people understand something else. Yeah. So Pramana Dosha. Hearing there is a this ear there is a problem, eye there is a problem. Then you can see wrongly. Fourth is a Prameya Dosha. Here dosha is more in the sense of characteristics. See, the Prameya, the thing which is wrongly known, that should have some similarity with the Adhisthana. That is why you are seeing the snake only on the rope. You are not seeing silver in the rope. He is going to tell that. So between Adhisthana and Adhyastha, there should be some similarity. The thing which is to be known, the Prameya, the rope, and that which is wrongly known, the snake, between that there is some similarity. So dosha in the form of similarity. And the fifth one is little technical, and that is you should have knowledge of Adhisthana. Adhisthana Vishesha Agdana. There is ignorance of the specific aspect of the Adhisthana. Adhisthana means the basis, the locus of error. So there is ignorance of specific aspect of Adhisthana, the basis. And tat samanya jnanam cha, that refers to Adhisthana. And there is general knowledge of Adhisthana. Cha means what? See, you can superimpose the snake only when rope is somewhat known. If rope is completely unknown, means total darkness is there, then there is no superimposition. So you have some knowledge of the rope, but there is no complete knowledge of the rope. So Adhisthana Vishesha Agdanam, there is ignorance of specific aspect of the Adhisthana. Specific aspect in this case, example is ropeness. So there is ignorance of the ropeness of the adhisthana. Adhisthana vishesha ajnana. Ignorance of specific aspect of the adhisthana. But samanya jnanam has to be there. Idam. Samanya jnanam, this is a rope in that this is known. This part is known. Idam tva is known. But rajutvam is not known. So ignorance of specific aspect of adhisthana and the knowledge of the general aspect of the adhisthana. Means what? In simple words, the adhisthana is somewhat known but not completely known. This type of condition has to be there. In other words, partial knowledge of adhisthana. Neither total ignorance nor complete knowledge of adhisthana. Neither complete knowledge of adhisthana nor complete ignorance of adhisthana. There should be what? Partial knowledge of adhisthana. Known but not completely known. This is the fifth condition. See, you also have misunderstanding about a person. When, if you know the person, then only you have. If you know him completely, misunderstanding will not be there. If you don't know him at all, then also misunderstanding will not be there. So this is the fifth condition. Iti etaha sat samanya jnanam cha, means partial ignorance or partial knowledge. These are adhyasa samagriha. These are the causal factors for adhyasa. Vinatu abhihi. Without this adhyasa samagri, abhi is a strilinga, adhyasa samagri bihi, without these factors required for adhyasa, adhyasa eva na siddhyet. Adhyasa itself will not be established in any case. And he is going to tell afterwards very elaborately that all these five conditions are not there in the case of Atma. Atma, Anatma, Adhyasa, these five conditions are not there. Therefore, the Anatma, Adhyasa, and Atma not possible. Alright, those details we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.